It is live. Hallelujah. It actually worked. Is it showing a little yellow square
It
in the
is.
top corner? Yay. Go us. So this is the first official Tea Time with Bookaholics. We've tried this twice before. It has not worked. So yay. For those that don't know, I am Tracy Vincent, the bloggess at Textual Love. And there is Ashley Kim, who is the bloggess at Mama Reads, Hazel Sleeps. And there's Rebecca Rogers, who is the bloggess at Rebecca's Novel Addiction. So, what we are all about. We are just three ladies who like to drink tea or coffee or juice, soda, water. We just like to drink fluids, yes, and read books. And we like to talk about them. And that's what we do.
That sums up my entire life. Yep.
I like wine with mine sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's nice too. Wine, scotch, bourbon. I'm good with any of them too.
I'll take some 12-year reserve Jameson if you're putting in orders.
I don't know. Glenlivet is pretty good.
I can't do it.
You can't do Glenlivet? I like Glenlivet, and I like Glenfiddich too.
No. Closest I come is Dwar's, the blended Scotch whiskey.
Oh yeah.
I got. Meet you halfway.
Okay, well that works. But I'm a bourbon fan. I cannot not be a bourbon fan and live in Kentucky. I think it's in the bylaw.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think they kick you out for that, or like.
I think so. I think you're excommunicated from the state if you don't like bourbon.
We had a hookup for a while at Rod's old job. He had a guy that worked security for him who also owned a liquor store. So twice a month he'd bring a bottle of something to Rod and say, "Hey, this is for you."
Well, that worked out.
Never complained about that.
I wouldn't either. So, anyhow, the goal for this chat is for us to talk about the books that we've read from the prior week. We hope to do this weekly. Talk about the books that we've read the prior week. And on the occasion, have an author stop in that one or all of us completely adore, and then bombard them with the gobs of questions and squeals and fangirling and all that generally is associated with those of us who find authors to be better than rock stars.
They're usually nicer, and they give you books. So.
This is true. They're usually nicer, and they give you books with their names hand-printed in it. Which I do believe Rebecca's gotten quite a bit of this week.
Holy cow, I've hit jackpot with book week.
Dude, really, that's awesome. It's a good time.
This is the perfect week.
You
And
didn't show her what you got today.
What did you get? Did I miss something?
This one.
That's my favorite cover so far too.
Isn't it gorgeous?
Oh,
I got this today, and then swag. Always gotta have swag. Can't ever have too many bookmarks. Ever, ever, ever.
No,
not ever. Yay!
Love it.
Fine.
And then my dad goes, "Oh my gosh, she signed it to you." Yeah, that is the best part. That you want to listen to the book for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. My boss this past week got me a signed copy of Wild Cards Inside Straight, which
No
is
way.
Yeah, it's a shared universe like the Dryden universe is, except it's a few authors and they write stories set up in this Wild Cards universe, and George R.R. Martin then turns around and edits all of the stories and writes a story himself, and then they publish it. Well, this one was printed in January of 2008, I think, and it's a first edition copy, and it is signed by George R.R. Martin.
That's pretty
Talk about dancing and squealing all over the house when I got it.
Yep.
And it's not even signed to me. It's just signed, and I'm like
Right.
giddy.
Yeah.
It doesn't
I
That
was
is
matter.
so
totally
cool.
like that. It's my birthday present from Sandy, which is the short story that Neil Gaiman wrote that's illustrated, and then there's the audio version, The Truth is a Cave in the Black Mountains. And it's one of the signed ones, and I was just like, okay, I can work for you. We can do this. This will be okay. But I hope to get Hazel into like going to meet authors because I think it'd be really fun. Something I didn't do when I was a kid. I didn't even really know about it, you know, until I was an
Right.
adult. So I'd really like to go when she's getting older.
Well, I had no idea you could do such a thing until last year. You know, I mean, I knew that they had like small book signings, like an author on its book on their book tour, but as far as like, cons dedicated to people who write books and people who love to read them, and I'm like, really? That is such a genius idea. Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah. They have conventions for everything now. I mean, everything.
Yeah, I agree with what they're talking about. Well, I mean, just think about it. We just sent several, hundreds of postcards to tabletop gaming conventions,
Hmm.
like, Dungeons and Dragons type stuff. Who knew that you could do such a thing? I had no idea until I started working for Dragon. So, what good have you guys ladies? So what good have you ladies read this week? What good books? Me and my good grammars.
Well, I think you've read this too. I don't know if Rebecca has, but the Asgardians by, well, okay, I can't ever say her name right, so is it Bend or Bende? I don't know.
I always
But
thought like Bende.
yeah, I always just assumed. And this is the novella that's part of the Supernatural Chronicles, which has 10 different authors, and they each chose a supernatural creature or a myth, and it all kind of comes together in this story, but each one can also be enjoyed on its own. And her, the Asgardians, has characters from her two series one that's finished, the Elsker Saga, and then one that she's just started releasing, which is the Air Saga. And they're really fun, and there's super hot Norse gods and super hot Norse goddesses and some Valkyries. They're also, I mean, pretty much everybody is just gorgeous. And then
Everybody.
even the human people are special in different ways. But that was the difference in this book. It focuses just on the characters that are Asgard. It doesn't really have any human element, but I still really enjoyed it. And I thought that it was fun to see characters from the two different series that we already knew were related to one another kind of come together for this mission for this particular book. And Gunnar is characteristically cheeky and handsy, and it's hilarious.
Gunner
I
is
really like
definitely
Henrik,
funner.
and I loved him in Perfect Order, which just came out recently. But I really am excited about more Henrik. I don't care about Ola anymore. He can go.
I'll be honest, I would have been completely, absolutely happy if Ul's books had been changed to being Gunner and Inga stories,
Yeah.
and then, Ul have the little short stories.
Mhm.
I mean, I like Ul, he's cool and all, sure, fine, whatever, but Gunner is funner, and I like Gunner. I like Tyr, don't get me wrong, Tyr was pretty cool.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah.
the god of, how can you not be cool if you're a god of war? But, yeah, I get so frustrated. I love her books, and so it's not a bad frustration. I just get really frustrated that all of the books about Inga and Gunnar which they actually have an amazingly interesting history, but we're only getting in 50-page chunks.
Tiny piece, yeah. I thought that was interesting because we did find out more about Inga's past in this one,
Mm-hmm.
in Asgardians, but there's still, yeah, like you said, there's still so much we don't know. And in the prequel to Elsker, you only get a little bit. You kind of get a brief scene of her and of Inga and Gunnar,
Mm-hmm.
and then of course Ul's there. But no, we haven't gotten the full length, which I think a lot of people experience the same frustration with Eirik from the Runes books,
This
and
is
now
true. And now he's got his own story.
so maybe she'll take a hint, 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 hint.
Big hint.
Flashing signs.
But speaking of demons, I mean, I know we've all read it.
What?
I mean,
Demons by
yeah,
Edna.
Demons.
Walters.
Speaking of demons, I know we've all read it.
Yeah.
I mean, let's go ahead and fangirl right now. Speaking of, Edna was supposed to be with us tonight, but due to a lot of problems we've been having on this end, and a lack of communication because of the lots of problems we've been having on this end, she's not coming tonight, and that's wonderful and fine. Hopefully, next month we will have her set up, and we will be able to have her here, and we can all fangirl and crush over Eirik and Turin and Echo and Dev and Andrus and Blaine, and then that's not to mention Bran and all of the other books that she's got as her E.B. Walters pen name. So
She's a couple.
she has several.
So what did y'all think of Demons? Did it open up the world inside Runes more? Did it explain more? Did it really just kind of fit in really well with what we'd read so far?
I think it expanded it a lot for me. I mean, she was really focused on the human side of everything Midgard, and everything that's going on there. And so it really, really was still kind of closed off. We were still only aware of the Valkyries and the Grimners and, some of the Norns. We still aren't really very familiar with the Norns, other than the fact that I F them. They need to die. Other than that, we really don't know much about the whole everything. And Eirik ends up opening up both, Hell's Hall and Asgard. And, he's opening up the entire universe for us.
Right.
So I'm thinking that it's truly, I don't know. I think this is the best book that she's written in this series completely.
I still think, I don't know, I'm having a hard time because I still think that Sirius might be my favorite, but it's so different because it's a big departure because it's Iris' point of view and everything else is from Rain or Cora's point of view. So it's entirely different, and it's kind of, even though they're the same universe,
Right.
they're so different that it's almost hard to compare them in terms of, oh, well, this is the best one. I think that I'm just really excited about this being more than one book. That's for sure.
Well, this is the first book that she's written in dual point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Right.
This is the first book she's written in dual point of view. Period. So, what do you guys think about her departure from sticking with one character's point of view?
I think she did a really good job. Voice-wise, it wasn't difficult to tell who was talking if you weren't paying attention to the headers. You knew what was going on and whose head you were inside. I really liked that what Ashley said, it opened up the world more for us because we were just used to Earthbound and then people stepping through portals. I mean, this really broadened the Norse world for us, not just on Earth, but in the other dimension, in Hell, where Odin is, all of it. and we hadn't seen that much of it other than little snapshots here and there.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, Rebecca,
Yes.
what have you read this week?
I have read this hot book called Trusting Bull by Jordan Marie. She is a fabulous author. I met her the beginning of this year. I started with her first book called Breaking Dragon. It's a motorcycle club book. And she popped my motorcycle cherry. Yeah, she did. It was awesome. I had never read Motorcycle Club. I guess it was just me saying, ooh, yuck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if I want to be associated with that, but I flew through that first book and I was like, damn, this is dirty. Damn, I really like this.
Yeah, she's pretty raw.
She's very raw, and I have cried through several of her books. I'll admit it, I really have. I've put my book down and got on Facebook and had my way with words at her.
Yeah, Loving Nicole.
Yeah, that's the one that I said some things that may
Yeah.
not have been very nice, but she completely understood.
Yeah, Loving Nicole was hard.
Yeah.
It was very hard. This is the last in the series of the Savage Brothers, which really makes me sad. But I saw her post something earlier, Tracy, asking if we wanted a book about the babies. Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
really?
So I was like, duh.
Yeah,
So
because there's Dom and
Jazzy.
Jazzy, and I think that's it, isn't there?
I think
you got
Danny
Maddie,
and
who is
Crusher have
older,
adopted a child.
and they adopted a kid. Yeah, you got Maddie from Trusting Bull, who's older, and Dakota, who is adopted by Xander and Danny, who's Maddie's age. That would
So
be
I really
cool.
like this one. It's dealing with a single mom and how she handles relationships with the child in the picture. Having experience and background with that, it really touched me. And this book was really, she knows what she wants, even though she has questions, and it doesn't take the whole book for her to say, damn it, I love you, let's try to make this work. Because Tracy was telling me, books that waffle make me crazy. Like crazy. I'm like, I want to reach in and smack you. Come on.
Yes.
I know what you mean. That's, yeah.
It's like, I like you, but I don't like you.
So if you haven't read any of her series, they're all standalone. You don't have to read one to read the others, but I would recommend reading all of them.
And I read them out of order a little bit because I actually went backwards from Saving Nicole through the first two, and then I haven't, that's as far as I've gotten. But I didn't think that it took away. I mean, I think you're right. I think that for a series of connected stories, you really aren't ruining a book for yourself if you read them out of order.
Right.
Some things do make sense. I can see how they make more sense if you read them as they came out, but I didn't find it confusing. She has a really, I don't know, I guess, yeah, like you guys were saying, she just doesn't hold anything back, and sometimes it's very emotional, and sometimes it's really dirty, and sometimes it's just very real.
And what's funny is this, I see her all the time talking with I don't want to say with regret, but with like apprehension or reticence because she has to write a sex scene.
Yeah.
She's just like, great, I have to go write sex scenes now. And it's just like, wait, I've read them. You have problems writing these? It seems to flow so naturally for you.
Yeah. Yeah, they do seem less contrived than a lot of others I've read lately.
Yeah. And they're very unconventional. Like in Bull, he's like, "Hey, think you might want to." And she's like, "No, you are not." And it's like, well, okay then. But I mean, that's unusual to read about, period. Just that sort of scene itself.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about delving into another entryway that is just not done.
Yes.
People don't talk about it. They don't do it. It didn't
Oh, she did it with
exist.
class.
She.
And there were rewards for doing it, too.
Yeah, there were rewards. But I love Jordan stuff. I also started talking with her this year with Breaking Dragon, and it was a really good book. And Saving Dancer, I'd have to say that out of all of them, I'd have to say that Saving Dancer is probably one of my most favorite, but he's the most broken.
Right.
He's the most broken character with the exception of Dani. And I still don't like her, but I understand her. But I have to admit that in Trusting Bull, Dani is the right person.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really great. She redeemed herself a lot in Trusting Bull to me.
Well, I need to read those too.
Her background just crushed me. Reading what she went through,
Yeah.
that was heartbreaking, and it was hard to read.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, we're already emotionally attached to these characters. So just having to read basically the torture that she went through was just devastating.
And the thing is that if you've read Loving Nicole, it kind of has a little overlap with Claiming Crusher. Because a lot of what's going on with in Claiming Crusher actually has a whole huge effect in Loving Nicole. So, yeah, it's pretty, they tie together, I think, more closely than the rest of the books do.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay.
I'm just sad that Taming, or what I keep wanting to call it Taming Bull, and I mentioned that to her, and she said that's what the original name was going to be. So I'm like, okay, so I'm not crazy.
Yeah. Makes sense. I can see why you go there.
I'm really sad that Trusting Bull is going to be the last one in this motorcycle club, because we have Naylor, we have Freak, we have, so many others. We have Diesel, for crying out loud.
I know. Have you read the excerpts for Skull, though, yet?
For what?
For Skull's book?
Captured? Yeah, I've read a few of them.
He's been writing some for that one, and I think one other, and they look really, really good.
Torched. That is, oh gosh, whose story is that? I don't remember. But I think they're both Skull's crew. I don't think that they're part of the Savage Brothers at all.
No, but I think there might be some interaction, just because of how much Skull has helped Savage Brothers, and not just helped, but taunted and, tried to get under Dragon's skin.
Yeah, Skull likes to taunt Dragon.
Yeah, he does. That whole scene in the limo.
Yeah, and the sad thing is, the Skull was actually trying to be a good guy in that one.
I know. Totally above board. It didn't matter. It didn't matter.
It didn't matter. Not at all.
Nope.
Well, you guys are talking about really new books, that have come out this past week. And the book that I've read that I'm going to talk about didn't come out, because I've read those too. And they come out this week. But one that I want to talk about, it's a little older. Not by much. It's a little older though, and it's actually the second book in the series. Stacey Rourke wrote this series called The Legends Saga, and the first book's called Crane. And if anybody knows anything about The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, you know Ichabod Crane. Well, this is not about Ichabod. Well, it is and it isn't.
It'll be it.
Just a little bit. That's right, just a tiny bit. It's actually about Ireland Crane, who is a descendant of Ichabod's. And all kinds of crazy things happen when she moves to the little sleepy town of Sleepy Hollow. And she has this tattoo, a sugar skull tattoo on her arm. And crazy things start happening, and the Headless Horseman starts making a comeback. And so that is in Crane. We're moving away from Sleepy Hollow. We're going back to New York City where she gets the tattoo, and she's trying to find why she's got the tattoo that she's got. And there she meets this guy named Ridley. Ridley is blessed with the same ability to see the dead as Edgar Allan Poe. And he unleashes Eleanor upon New York City, which apparently is a very, very, very bad thing. And so that's really the crux of the story. I won't go any further on how things happen and how things get resolved, but we are in New York. And craziness ensues when you have a mostly dead person mutilating and trying to destroy New York City. You know, it's with all bad things. It all has to happen to New York, you know. Just watch any, just watch any natural disaster movie. It's in New York. Alien invasions comes to New York. Well, the dead come alive in New York.
So who all ended up going with Ireland to New York?
Noah, her boyfriend, went to New York with her, and Rip Van Winkle. I love Rip.
You gotta give us a little blurb on Rip.
Rip?
He's every time I read him, I'm laughing out loud. Like I'm cackling in my bed and getting stared.
Well, it doesn't stop in Crane. You will still do this you'll still do this in Raven too. Rip Van Winkle, of course, is the man who sleeps for hundreds of years. And he does. He sleeps for a couple hundred years. And he gets awakened when Ichabod's curse gets moved to Ireland. And he tries to help her out. But the thing about Rip is not just that he falls asleep, is the fact that he has, anytime he gets stressed out or frightened, he passes out and starts snoring. He just passes out and goes to sleep.
He's narcoleptic.
So he has a really weird form of narcolepsy.
It's hilarious.
But he is absolutely hilarious.
Stacey does a really good job describing that and putting it in the book so you can, in your mind, as you're reading, you can see him just, fall over and hit the ground.
There are several scenes in Raven with him. There's less scenes in Raven than there are in Crane, of course, but there's some scenes with him in Raven. There's one involving a museum that I about peed myself over. Right.
Yep.
And then when he has teeth. Let's be clear here. Ichabod Crane, or not Ichabod Crane, but Rip Van Winkle has his own teeth. Mm-hmm. But somehow they get a set of dentures, old dentures, shoved in his mouth over his teeth, and they get stuck there. And he's trying to talk, and so he has this really horrible lisp. And so he's throwing spittle everywhere and going, "This is crazy." And just the fact that she was spelling everything out in his lisp, and then everyone's getting a spray bath.
Yes.
I was laughing so hard that I would snort.
Yes.
Until I snorted, and then I'd have to stop, and then I'd have to wipe the tears because these are I'm laughing so hard, liquid is squirting out my eyeballs, and it It was really great. I truly, truly love this series. And so thank you, Rebecca, because I would never have read it if it hadn't been for you.
You are most welcome. Absolutely.
So,
There's nothing better than sharing books that you love with someone else who you know will love it.
that's true. So you should share them and just
Yes.
send them.
So, yeah, you should definitely read Crane first, because you do need to follow the series in order. You need to read Crane and then go to Raven, and then the last one is Steam. And that one I'm in the process of reading now.
Yeah.
Are you going to put up the links for the books, at least on Amazon, in the comment section?
Yeah, I'll be putting links down below to all of these books and to all of the authors so that you can see them and follow them. And so, woo.
There's no like button for me. So.
So we have talked about what we've read in the last week. What is everyone? Well, I guess we can't talk about what we're currently reading because we'll talk about that on Monday.
Yeah, that would be kind of hard, especially if you're reading ARCs, because that's something we can't discuss until they're out.
Secrets.
Yeah, secrets. But I'm not reading an ARC. I'm actually reading Sting.
I'm reading a print book that I haven't read print in probably a year.
Me too. It's fun. I love it.
It is fun. And I've gotten a lot of print books this week. And I was telling Tracy earlier that I'm not going to be accepting as many ARCs this year. I'm really going to take a step back and just be really selective in what I do because I want to get through a lot of my backlog.
Yeah.
All these books that I've won, all these books that I've bought, I want to read them. That's the whole reason I got them. And so I want to read them and do reviews for my authors and support them. So that's going to be my shameful existence for the next year.
Yeah, I'm switching to a lot more, like, if it's a blog tour, just like an interview or a guest post. I wanted to have more guest posts this year. I started to get a few in the last couple of months, and I really enjoyed them. Yes, especially if they're the ones where I get to choose the topic. I want to do more of that because I think it's really interesting to have the different authors talk about the same thing in their own context. And I want to do a series. I really liked how Tracy did her author months, so I kind of...
Author spotlights.
Yeah, author spotlight. So I kind of sort of... I didn't steal the idea. I'm doing...
Oh, you can totally steal the idea. It's okay.
But I'm also, later in the year, going to be doing... not just like a kind of broader thing where I do specific authors, but in a certain genre. So we'll see how that goes. It'll also like I'm going by who releases something within a certain month. So it kind of depends on if authors are on time with their releases. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be different. Blog's going to change a lot this year. I'm excited.
I think we're all making some adjustments after, spending a year doing it one way and realizing it doesn't quite work the way I wanted it to. Let's see if we can try something else.
Well, my whole blog started so that I would be an accountable reader. I was a terrible reader. Not in the sense that I didn't pour through the books. I poured through them, and I read them all, and I loved them or didn't love them or whatever, but I would never leave a review for them. And so my blog was intended to keep me accountable, and I will be honest, out of my blog, maybe a fourth of my blog is from my back pile. And my whole point of my blog was to read my back pile, even some of the things that I'd already read, so that I could get them reviewed and get them up. And I've been terrible. I've not done it. I've been like ARCs and new books and all this sort of stuff. So I'm going to try to slow it down a little bit and really focus on the content that I've already got.
Yeah.
So a lot of these are actually going to feature things that I'd already read or things that have been published a long time ago.
Right.
And definitely participating in more of like the blog challenges, like the blog ahead and the blogger shame and all that.
I'm
I think
totally
that'll
doing the
help me.
blog of shame this year.
I need to sign up for it because I'm terrible. I don't even want to tell you guys how bad my NetGalley ratio is. It's embarrassing.
Well, I don't think my NetGalley ratio is bad simply because I only get it if I'm needing to read for a release day.
Mm-hmm.
So my NetGalley ratio looks good, but it's only got like 4 books in it. You know, because I get so many other books through other PR companies and stuff. I don't have time to do it. I mean, I struggle sometimes to get the books that I've got already scheduled out to get out.
Yeah.
So I don't mess with NetGalley unless the author's ARC is going through NetGalley.
Yeah.
And it might seem terrible, and it's nothing against NetGalley. They're great and all. I just personally don't have time to do it.
Well, it's just I already have trouble keeping up with cross-posting on Amazon and Goodreads. And to add another thing that you have to do separately because it doesn't just accept a link. Like there's those little questionnaire things you have to fill out. So It's just too much extra. And I made the mistake of signing up for a bunch when I first signed up for NetGalley, and I just have been behind ever since. And most of them are from blog tours that they only do NetGalley. So I'm going to make an effort in the next few months to go through and cross-post my reviews. And make sure they get on NetGalley as well, because I know that helps a lot, and it'll help me out because then publishers will look at that and not think that I don't review anything, because I did. It's just on my blog and not
right.
I think my biggest issue this year has been one, I've really gotten into the book world inside social media. Completely new to it. I went to my first party the week after Thanksgiving a year ago, so I'm like literally a newbie to all of this. But I will find a series that I'll like, and then I will blast through that entire series and screw everything else.
Yep.
So, and that's what I've done is, I've read all of Rune's, I've read everything Melissa's written, I've read everything Edna has written by Edna. I've read all of her Infamous Billionaires. I've read everything by Karen. Authors that I really, 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 really like. Everything else goes on hold, and that's all I want to read because I want to find out what's happening next. I finished a book, and I'm like, I can't read anything else. Are you kidding me? I have to read the next book.
Yes, I'm exactly like that.
That's the reason why if anymore I've been, especially if most of the books have been written in the series, I wait. And then I will schedule them back to back. Because I have to schedule these books that I want to read for pleasure. I have to schedule them in. Otherwise, I'll never get to them.
Yep.
So it's like, I have the, because where I actually had won the books by Stormy Smith. And she'd already had them, and she sent them to me. And so those I now have scheduled in January, so now I can read them because they're done. For the most part, they're done. I don't think I'll ever catch up with S.J. West, though. The woman is a machine. I don't think she's human.
Work for her.
I don't think she's human. I think she's like a robot. She
has this really great universe built up to where she can just like tell someone's story or continue a story, and it doesn't, I mean, honestly, I've been involved in series like that before, and it just got repetitive, and I'm like, what's going on? But she makes it so different, and they go back and forth between different dimensions and different time periods, so there's so much to it that it doesn't feel stale or redundant.
Right. And she's got a lot of characters too. And I've only read the first 3 books. I've not read all of them. But, it's just one of those things where I don't think I'll ever keep up with her. I think by the time I get to the last one, there'll be 30 more written.
Well, I was going to say, by the time you get to the last book, she'll have 10 more coming.
Right.
So it's great though. You know, you never run out of something. Now I will say, you know, she's got the two series that are completely on their own outside of the Watchers universe. So if you wanted to give yourself some breathing time, you could read. She has her dystopian trilogy, the Harvester series, and then she has the Dragon Saga, the Vankara series. And
You
that
said
one's
give
kind of
yourself a breather, and here I am having problems catching up with what I got.
So there's a lot. And yeah, but you really need to read Watcher Chronicles because you're going to freaking love Justin Mason. I love them. They're my favorites. Shh, that's the secret. You're not supposed to know that. But
Well, I don't know. I like Malcolm.
I know I love Malcolm, but Sandy refuses to give up Malcolm, so I have to go with Justin Mason. And that's okay because I get a couple instead of one person. I'm okay.
She
But-
must like Malcolm too.
Malcolm is the best ever. He's great. he's like Andrus and Echo put together. I mean, Malcolm's fantastic.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see Andrus and Echo being Malcolm. Yeah. I don't know. Throw a little Dev in there too.
Yep, definitely. Yeah. You know what? You're right. Yeah, he's a little like that too. And a little bit like Sykes. So here you go. He's just. What can you say about it?
Right. And the fact that she picked Brand over Malcolm.
I wouldn't.
I would say I wouldn't have either.
Oh, he's my soulmate. I don't care. I have these abs over here, guys. He has long black hair. I'm done.
Man, you're not meeting my husband.
Ugh.
Nah, I'm not worried. I've seen your husband.
Yeah, he's pretty cute.
He's a cutie.
He used to have long black hair, but now it's gray and shorter, and it's still cute, which is not fair.
My husband's hair is shorter than it was, but
That's
it's finally
right.
growing back out.
Yeah.
He went to a barber. The barber decided he had too long a hair and cut it off short. For him, you know, because he's been metal ever since I've known him, and he's always had real long hair. Like, his hair is always longer than mine. And then when he comes home, and it's like at his shoulders, it's like, oh no.
It's a big change.
Big change.
But yeah, typically, you know, it's interesting because you talk about book boyfriends, and you know, a lot of people, their book boyfriend type is completely different of their real life type, and in some cases that's true for me, you know. But honestly, looks wise, I don't really stray too far. Tall dudes with long black hair, I can't help it. It's not my fault.
And that's really funny because me, I don't have a type, like physically. Like, if you were to look at all the boyfriends that I had, they're all different. You know, physically, they're all very different. But personality-wise, it depends. Some of them are really close, like Carrie and Cole's series, right? The Ashes and Embers series. My favorite character is Lucas. And I sent her a message, and I was like, the crap. It's like you wrote my husband in your book. He's so close to my husband, it's not even funny. Like,
Who those
whoa.
covers? Oh my goodness.
Oh, God, I know.
Those covers.
Right. I mean, even in that cover, his hair is more like my husband's. I mean, this guy, Lucas, in the book is completely like my husband, and it was really weird. And he's my favorite character out of all the Ashes and Embers books. But then you turn around and you have Nikki Sloan, who writes, you know, the Blindfold Club books. And Dom is my most favorite character of hers. He's blonde and you know, an office nerd kind of guy who's really not an office nerd when he's not at work.
No.
He is my absolute favorite out of all of them that she's written. But when you're more like my husband, he's actually more like a cross between Logan and Joseph
Mm-hmm.
by personality. He fits more of those two than Dom. But yet Dom is the one I'm just like, I like Dom. Dom is awesome.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about How had I forgotten about those books? They're so good.
Oh, speaking of, she's got Three Dirty Secrets. Yeah, I think that's the name of it, coming out soon. About Silas the tattoo artist and the lawyer who's the negotiator at the Blindfold Club.
Oh, well, I definitely have to. Yeah, that one's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
I am definitely hesitant to read any more tattoo artist books after the last one I read, but I'll do it. I'll give it a try.
Well, I will be honest, I live like 35, 40 minutes away from Nikki Sloan.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's a Kentucky girl, gotta support.
That's so funny. I just found out. I think I told you guys actually that I just found out that there's an author that I had reviewed for that lives like 15 minutes from here, and it was just like, what? Okay, that's cool.
Christina Roselle, who wrote The Tree Makers and The Soul Takers, she lives, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes away.
That's right.
Well, you know, Drew Hayes lives near you too.
He does, and you know, I haven't gotten a book from him. I have been
I know,
sad.
that's my fault. Remember my car. My car screwed
I
everything
send my
up.
daughter to the mailbox every day going, maybe today's the day.
No, not today. I will just promise you it's not today. It will be tomorrow. I'm serious. My car has screwed everything up.
They're really good at that.
Yeah, well, the old man who hit my car had a lot to do with that. I mean, other than the fact that I'm awfully grateful that everybody is okay, you know, and that nobody got hurt, it just really put all of my everything off on hold.
Mm-hmm.
You know, financially speaking, because even though his insurance company is taking care of pretty much everything, there is still so much that I'm out because of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In the meantime, it's incredibly inconvenient on your part.
Yeah, but that was something that was going to be taken care of soon. Like, I mean, like within the next, 10 days soon, Rebecca.
No, that's okay.
I think he personally should meet you at the bakery and hand you the book.
He comes to a
buy
bakery
him.
in the town that I live in,
And you can buy him a cupcake.
oh man, this bakery is amazeballs. I'm not kidding. Like, I just want to lick the display case.
That's how I feel about our 24-hour gourmet donut place. I understand.
My daughter just said, that's not weird at all.
Well, it was really weird when I told him where you lived, Rebecca, because it was really funny because you won both of his giveaways.
Right?
And when I told him where you lived, he was like, oh, she's got to go to this bakery. This is like the best bakery in the world. And I didn't even give you the name. I was like, he says there's this bakery there. And you're like, oh, it's this one because it's the best one in the world. And you both knew. Yeah, I'm like, well, it's a match made in heaven.
It's where I got Rod's 40th birthday cake. Oh, it was so yummy.
Yeah.
Divine. Like, party in your mouth, divine.
I'm okay with that. I like mouth parties.
Oh, they're good.
Ladies, we have been on for almost an hour now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and right now we're just shooting the breeze, which is really cool, but I'm pretty sure that the YouTube folks will be like, what the heck, these ladies are so boring.
I posted on Facebook and Twitter. I shared our link for tonight's little get-together, tonight's little hangout.
Well, I have seen periodically there's been someone watching.
Ooh.
Rod came in, CEM came in and checked it out. his response was, I said, check your messenger or click the link. He goes, I did. That is really cool. So, hey, at least he knows what I'm doing. I'm not, like, talking to my boyfriend or something.
Yeah, Joel's not waking you up.
My God, that was so funny. Oh, my gosh, that was hilarious. And, like, I was getting the evil eye from the other side of the bed. Who is that? It's Joel. What does he want? Hang on, let me read it. Apparently, he wants me to host a party in 2 days. Yay me! It was funny. I was laughing, and then, of course, I was laughing even more when Joel tells the story like he's completely innocent and didn't do anything wrong.
He's good at trying to do that. But I will say that this is our hangout. We're going to try to keep it to 30 minutes, though. Generally, because we will just shoot the breeze and just keep talking, because that's just what we do. Get ladies who love books and drinks, and we will just start talking about books and drink. And right, donuts and cupcakes.
And donuts.
Husbands, tattoos.
Special cupcakes.
Special cupcakes.
The important things in our life. Okay.
Yeah. But
peanut butter fudge.
Peanut butter fudge. There we go. Yeah, peanut butter fudge. It's good. So anyway, this is tea time with the Bookaholics, and we will see you next week. Good day.
Bye.